and welcome back to Legil in this Prussian campaign as Paul von Hollenstein. Last time around we were given a task by the Field Marshal to go ahead and scout out a few locations. So that's what we're doing right now. So we have scouted Roslav. Now we're gonna go ahead and scout Pinsk, but that's completely on fire. And once that's done, we'll turn on to the siege, which at this point has actually started. There's some smaller groups of... Oh, there's quite a large group of enemy soldiers. But as my army... I mean, they outnumber 61 soldiers. But that's way too much because I have just hussars. I don't have any proper troops to back them up. And there we go. Since the siege has started, there's no point in trying to relay the information to the commander at this point. Or maybe I can actually. Let's go ahead and see. Approach this... request meeting with the commander, which should be not this guy. This is not the one I'm looking for, which is unfortunate. So what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and join in the assault, shall we? I'm standing here with the commanders as we're overviewing the situation ahead of us. Oh, there is even Scharnhorst, which I'm supposed to give the information to of what I scouted. And basically what we saw was at the towns we didn't see anything, but as we passed back towards the siege, we could of course see the fact that the enemy was closing in. There was reinforcements drawing closer to this town, and let's see, we're about close enough, so it's high time to give the order to fire at will and to charge. Charge in and attack this place. Pretty inaccurate my pistol is, but at least I've got two of them, and both of which has two barrels. So I get a lot of bang for the buck. Although I was able to miss every single shot. Let's try not to get shot here as we charge up. Come on, lads! We've got this. Let's see if we can find maybe a Russian banner in among here that I can possibly steal. I'll stay back, reload my pistols, as there's quite a few Russians here. And this battle will drag on for quite a while. Currently we've attacked and taken out this right side, but as we can see there's plenty of enemies over on the left side, and those need to be cleared out as well, because otherwise we're risking flank fire. Oh, is that British troops? No, that is just Russian hussars. Right, so they're spawning a mass of them right there. What we want to do is go down into the trenches and see about if we can clear them out and clear out towards the left side, so that the soldiers coming towards here can focus in on one specific target right in the middle of the attack zone. Now I'm actually hitting some stuff here with my pistol. Away with you, wild beggar! Die! Let's try not to be too gun-ho, or at least like it was last time, where we actually were taken down during the siege. We were wounded. Looks like the attack has kind of faltered at this point, and what we're looking for is possibly to regroup on the field out there and then prepare to go again up on the walls. But before we go back to rendezvous with a few, I imagine at this point most of the officers have actually been taken down, and it wouldn't be that much of a surprise or a stretch for me to be the highest officer on the field, which would put me in charge. And it wouldn't be so strange for a captain to lead this next charge over the walls, even though I'm more or less already led the first charge over the walls. So there's a few Russians, I believe, that's pushed out. Or why are they firing that way? Oh, there were actually there were a few Russians out here all the way. So what do we have here? We have the guards. So there were 2 Russians that moved, or 1 Russian actually. Are we preparing here? Let's see. Are there any officers left, or were they all taken down? Scharnhorst and a lot of them. Right now I can't actually see anyone. There's some Prussian cuirassiers and then some hussars and stuff, but I can't see any fellow officers, so it seems to be down to us. Now up here and into line, my good fellows, and you know what? Victory and destiny waits for no man. Forward, soldiers, with me. And everyone moves directly backwards, which... There we go, now they're moving forwards. The bot movements on this map is quite horrendous most of the time. Forwards then, up to the wall, and smite those Russians. There's still quite a few people moving back. I think we'll tell the cavalry to charge. And then we can have the infantry go in, forming line up here and firing onto the enemy. Musketeers to the front, infantry to the front, and have cavalry charge. Fire that gun, dragoon! Over the top, come on lads! We'll tell them actually to hold fire so they'll get into position. Everyone into position. Okay, so they're actually turning a bit. They're on a bit of a flank. Most of the line. So I'm gonna tell them to move forwards a bit. So we hopefully get more of them coming in over the wall. And with that, I'm actually gonna tell the cavalry to withdraw just for a second, to give us a clear firing window. And with that said, volley fire present, fire! Fire at will. And once more, cavalry charge. Keep those banners high. And I'll charge in with the cavalry. Is that a blunderbuss that guy has? It would be quite hard to miss, given how many Russians there are there. Slaughter! Protect me, soldiers! Come on! Fire at will! Fire into this mess of Russian bastards. The Russians are pushing back. We need to redraw back to the line. Let's get this Jaeger so he doesn't snipe me as I retreat. Keep going, soldiers. Keep firing onto the enemy. The line is thick with smoke. You can hardly see what's going on at this point. Keep pushing bullets into them. We'll win in the long run. We need to take this town before the reinforcement arrives. Ugh. Seem to be aiming for me now, as plenty of bullets is passing by me. It looks as though this attack is falling apart. We'll have to fall back and prepare for a third attack attempt. Fall back. Hold your fire. Retreat, soldiers, retreat. And then once out here, we will once more try to breach the town defenses. Currently, we've got quite a bit of reinforcements moving up to take part in this charge. I'm running out of bullets for my pistols though, so I only have these two ready. The accuracy on this one was quite horrendous at certain times, but I was able to deliver quite a few bullets downrange, which is good enough, I think. Right. The line is drawing up. We've got cavalry and infantry, guards and grenadiers, ready to take on the task of attacking the Russians. Soldiers, return fire towards the Russians there on the wall. Don't let them get easy shots on us. What I think we'll do is we'll move the cavalry more to the side so they can stream forwards through there, while the infantry can go directly over the top here. Right, cavalry is going into position, and with that, let's order the musketeers and the line infantry to take position inside. Oh, wrong button. There we go. And everyone, hold your fire and get inside now. You know what? Let's just give them the order to charge. And once we actually get inside, I'll tell the infantry to open fire, and that will force them or stop them to form line. Get through this. We're kind of covered actually by the smoke. All the gun smoke kind of covers our attack. We're in, and it's time to give the order to fire at will. Looks like this will be the end of the Russians, as they don't seem to have any more infantry to call upon, no more reinforcements. The town will surely be ours, but I imagine we've got one more place to go into as we go in further in to the town. Victory will be ours. Here we have the statistics of the battle. So I managed to lose 6 of my men, 23 wounded, which isn't that bad out of a company of 100 men, roughly. Friendly forces killed, 48 killed, and 244 wounded, I should say. Enemies, 431 killed, and we didn't actually have to go in to fight in the streets. The enemy forces were taken out as we on the walls. Now let's see if we can get to the commander. Let's see, Gerhard von Scharnhorst. Ah, well, Paul von Hollenstein. I will not forget how we captured this town together. This is the second one. Ah, it's good to have you fighting by my side. And also, with the report you have given, we can prepare a defense of this town, as we now know the enemy is approaching. You're a good scout, von Hollenstein, and you're sure to make a name of yourself within the army. A simple task, my lord. Thank you. What do you think about this area? Gerhard von Blucher, you say? I support your choice. So now we are even better friends, and I'm not as... or Blucher is not as angry with me. But as the enemy was approaching quite a while ago, this information came before I actually attacked, or we attacked the town. So what I need to do is I need to go out there and see if I cannot scout further and find out where the Russian army is. And it's not far away, is it? We've got about 500 men under Alexander Petrovich Benningsen. No, wait. Tomanov. Alexander Petrovich Tormasov. And Leonty Leontrovich Benningsen. So we've got about 500 enemies moving in. Split into 2 army groups. Has decided that Gerard von Blucher should get that town. Oh shit, I almost ran into the Imperial Army. The Russian Imperial Army of 700 men. So we got quite the force in total then, 1200 men. We need to scurry back to the town and see if the Russians are going to contest and try to retake it, or if they're where they're going. So we'll shadow the Imperial Army and the Emperor of Russia. Looks as though he's heading south. I'm not entirely sure where he could want to go there. Oh, he has actually spotted us and followed us for a little bit. The thing is I'm not entirely sure if the campaign... Oh, the campaign is still going, so I should still stay with Gerard's army. I need to go and report what is going on. The fact that we've seen 1200 enemies moving in. What do you think? Oh, you support yourself? You know what? I nominate myself for that honor. Most interesting. I'm no interest in supporting you. I wish to ask you something, however. Where is our Marshal? Marshal Scharnhorst is in the field, close to Grodno at the moment. Then Grodno is where I shall go. With haste, we'll move towards Grodno. Let's see, who's that? That's someone else. We've got a small Russian patrol, nothing to worry about, and we've reached Grodno, but no sign of... We've got quite a large army passing by. Let's see if there's anyone in Grodno we can ask where the commander Scharnhorst has gone. No, there's only ladies here. We'll have to head out, and I can imagine that this army that's passed by here, that if I follow these tracks, I could very well end up in the rear of... there seems to be quite a few armies here, and they're turning off back towards Poland. Let's see, what do we have here? 2 armies, but none of which is Scharnhorst. My good sir, do you know perhaps where Scharnhorst is? He's close to Grodno, but where? People say he's close to Grodno. What's this? Is this Scharnhorst? There he is! We're moving north. What could we be doing? We will accompany Scharnhorst as we proceed north in force. Currently I've seen no information here that the town should be under siege. Let's see. Ostrog is still safe under our control. Where exactly is he going? We're closing in. This is quite far into Russia at this point. Possibly going for Pskov. Is he going to attack yet another town? Will we leave nothing for the Russians? The Russians at this point should seek peace, shouldn't they? He's laying siege to Pskov as well. So we've got another siege on our hands. I'll have to go and tell him about the forces that I've seen. Field Marshal, as we conducted the siege, or after we conducted the siege in the south, I was able to spot just off to the east. We had two smaller army groups of 250 men each, and then I saw the Imperial host with Alexander himself commanding a substantial force of over 700 men. But as I saw, they were heading south. Well, Paul von Hallenstein, and not to beat you to it, but I was already informed about these movements, and that is why I decided to bypass the Russians completely by going north and laying siege to Pskov. So you've sort of, in a way, figured out my grand strategy in this. Hopefully, the garrison we've left to guard the town will be enough, but Pskov is a greater target than the town we just took. This will be a real jewel in our campaign, and hopefully it will force the Russians to surrender, and the war will be over. We'll force them to negotiations. There's no way they would allow the war to continue on in such a disastrous way as it's been happening. And it could even mean the turmoil within the Russian Empire, as the Emperor Alexander will be losing face quite substantially against our Prussian forces. But at the same time, we should not overextend ourselves to the east. The big threat to Prussia and to Europe is, of course, the Republicans in France, and that little General Napoleon Bonaparte. Anyways, I thank you very much for this information, and since you have proven so worthy in so many tasks, I see that you are made for greater things. I'll have to ask around a little bit, or I have to rearrange some parts within the army, but I can see that we might have to bump you up quite a few steps within the Prussian army. Until this siege, or until the charge on the wall will begin for this siege, I bid you adieu, good sir, and to you, most gracious Field Marshal, and I thank you very much for your patronage in my military career. Thank you very much. By chance, who do you think should receive the town of Ostrog? I support my brother, Bogislav von Wittenberg. In this case, I look to my close friends and brother to decide to give Fief the most serving. What if I can convince you? Oh, I will support you with pleasure. So you will support me over your brother? Then clearly I am a worthy choice. And since there are a lot of generals here, we could see about possibly... What do you think? I support my father. How about supporting me instead? I'm sorry. No, I will not support you. But my father, your father supports me over himself. How about you, Karl Ludwig? What do you think? Who do you... Oh, you support yourself, right. There's no way of convincing you then. How about you, Eugene von Württemberg? What do you think? Clearly you're not going to support me, you're going to support yourself. Right. But what about you, Bogislav? Your brother... Oh, Bogislav would probably not be too kind at this moment, as his brother favors me over him. Who do you think? Oh, you support yourself. Seems like a lot of people supporting themselves, which means that just a few votes going my way would mean quite a lot, or at least the fact that I've got Scharnhorst on my side could mean that a town could befall me, and with that I would gain quite a bit of rank. I would be bumped up quite substantially from being just a captain, and we could see about even conducting fights from Ostrog out with possibly even a smaller army group of my own towards, say, Kiev, to cut the Russians off entirely, so to split their empire in two. But these are dreams, dangerous dreams, but ambitious dreams, and that is what you need if you're trying to make a name for yourselves. Anyways, with all this said, and looking at the time, I think that we're gonna go ahead and end it here today. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!